Hello guys, Subhash here from ZettaHub, and today's video is about a discussion that I wanted to do for quite some time. A while ago, a YouTube user, which is also my friend, asked me what phone do I prefer on a daily basis. I told him iPhone, obviously, because I am an iPhone user since 2015. And on Android side, I told him OnePlus. Then I remembered why I chose iPhone than any other brands, because Android has a variety of brands to choose from, the likes from Samsung, Oppo, Vivo, and Pixel. Why did I choose OnePlus as my main Android device? Okay, first of all, let me tell you a brief history of my smartphone usage since 2009. My first smartphone was Nokia N8 with Symbian OS. I'm not happy with Symbian. I moved to Android with Samsung Galaxy S2. Not particularly happy with Samsung at that point. Then I moved to Nokia Lumia 920 with Windows Phone OS. And fun fact, from all of these three phones, Windows Phone was the most used phone until I made the switch to iPhone back in 2015. Little you may know that I was an Apple hater back in the day. I used to tell my friends and my family to avoid iPhones and iPad as much as possible. And that hate feeling became, okay, that kind of nice feeling when Apple released iPhone 5s back in 2013 and subsequently iPhone 6 back in 2014. Decided to choose iPhone as my next phone because why not? Have used all sorts of platforms and why not give iOS a try? And at that point, Malaysian ringgit with US dollar was in a controlled amount of exchange rate, and at that time iPhone 6 was really affordable. I felt a good feeling when I started to use iPhone for a couple of months, and I also fell in love with the OS and also the stability. And yes, it has a lot of bugs at that time, but the bugs was not as worse as my previous phones. Years passed on, the iPhone prices in Malaysia is now at a price range of not affordable. And when people come and ask me for a phone suggestion, I can't suggest them the 5,000 ringgit iPhone. The median salary here in Malaysia is 2,500 ringgit. And when I suggest them the highest end iPhone, people will look at me and think, why did I ask this idiot for a suggestion? So to avoid that, I started to look for an alternate phone. Well, all sorts of phone came into my mind, but the only brand that sticks out most was OnePlus. And yes, iPhones do have budget and version, but people here in Malaysia, the average consumers, have only used Android since the smartphone era, and for them to change to iOS is quite a difficult process, so they just want to stick to Android. Well, first of all, why not Samsung? Samsung phones are great, don't get me wrong, and they just recently released S20, S20 Plus and S20 Ultra, but for me personally, the phone will not cut outside of United States. Wanna know why? It's their processor. Samsung for some reason uses their crappy, laggy Exynos version outside of the United States, and only people in the United States can enjoy the Snapdragon variant. Check out this video from the Phone Buff. I put the video link on the description below. This guy shows you the clear difference between the Exynos processor and the Snapdragon processor, and there is a clear discrepancy between these two processors, and most people are buying the phone without knowing it. Well, my take on this, Samsung should reduce the price of Exynos variant compared to the Snapdragon one, and people should stop buying Samsung until they release the Snapdragon variant outside of the United States. Well, don't get me started on Oppo, Vivo, Xiaomi and Mi. They are basically, for me, just a scam. They will promise you a 12 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage and 7-inch of Super AMOLED screen. But the software comes with the phone is absolute garbage, and most of the time you are stuck with the Android version that comes with the phone when you purchased it. For example, my friend has bought Oppo R9 back in 2016 and he's still stuck with Android 6, and there was no major Android update ever since he bought the phone. Actually, that's another disadvantage of Android OS. It is not uniform as iOS. It is so cluttered and messy. Software support's not arriving on the phones on time, and phone manufacturers giving up on phones in just 2 years' time but not releasing security bug fixes and patches. And to compare all that, S6 came in 2015 with iPhone 6s, and iPhone 6s still supporting iOS 13, and S6 is not in the map anymore. And that's the reason why I prefer iOS over Android any day, anytime. Even though 6s does not run smoothly on iOS 13, I still credit Apple for their dedication to update a phone which is 5 years older. They have no obligation to do that, but yet they are still doing it. It's hard to suggest Pixel phones at this moment, and no, it's not because of there is no Google retail stores in Malaysia, but the phone is not as perfect to use as a daily driver. Other than the camera module, the phone is just utter garbage at the moment, and I really hope they do well with Pixel 5 because if there's one phone I really want to succeed, it's Pixel. It has the power of stock Android and it also has software updates on the spot just like the iPhone does. But Google phones in general lack some sort of charisma and it's nowhere near the iPhones at the moment, but I really hope they get there. Okay, why I prefer OnePlus as my main Android device? I became a fan of OnePlus when they released OnePlus 2 back in the day with mind-blowing specs with crazy low price. And from that moment onwards, OnePlus became a fan favorite for most of the people around the world, and years pass. Now they are starting to move into a flagship category as they just recently released OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro. OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro is quite expensive in the Asian region, but 7 and 7T was built so well with good internals, I can easily recommend them a year-old phone rather than Oppo's, Vivo's or even Samsung's. So it is easy to recommend OnePlus as the best Android device for reason number one, because it is cheaper than other manufacturers with somehow same specification, and number two, it is running on Oxygen OS. It is still a skin, but it's almost as good as stock Android. And third, although OnePlus doesn't have a official seller in Malaysia, their warranty is still valid in some authorized service center here. And yes, it will still have the same disadvantage as the other third-party manufacturers, such as less major updates as time goes, but for 2000 ringgit with these internals and with this kind of specification, the phone can hold for quite some time. In my honest opinion, if I were to use Android again, it will be OnePlus. It's a great bang for the buck phone you can find in the market currently. But if you give me a choice between OnePlus 7 or the iPhone SE 2020, I would still prefer iPhone SE due to the fact that it has stock iOS experience, not some third-party manufacturer's skin install, and with A13 inside, the phone can easily last up to 2025 with software and security updates. Call me an Apple fanboy, but what's the point of Snapdragon 865 inside the phone? But there is no software to utilize it, and without proper software update as year goes, the phone is still usable, but it won't be stable nor secure as before. But it's up to you guys. Some may prefer a bigger screen, some don't, and I can totally understand that. And if you're a hardcore Android user watching this video, and there you go, OnePlus is the go-to phone for you. Do not waste money on Xiaomi, Mi, Oppo's and Vivo's. I can't say Samsung is a waste of money. They still do make a great phone, but the phone are not better than OnePlus in terms of the money you are paying for. And that's it for today, guys, and until the next video, signing off. Bye for now.